Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Runya and today we're gonna talk about Russian names. How come there are so many versions for one single name and they do not really make sense, they do not sound similar to each other. What kind of middle name we have, which is not a middle name. I will talk about possessive suffixes, so suffixes that show possession in our last names. And at the end, I wrote down maybe 40 probably the most popular names in the West, or somewhat popular, and then I'm gonna tell you the Russian version of your name if your name is on that list. So I hope you're gonna like this video. Please subscribe if you like it, and without further ado, let's go. So Russian names come in a 3-part package, just like Western names, but instead of a middle name, we have a patronymic, which in Russian is called отчество. But first, I will talk about our first names and why there are so many versions of them. So Russian language is very rich in word formation. That means that there are a lot of different types of suffixes that you can add to a word and change its connotation from neutral to more affectionate, playful, even derogative, I guess. And the same thing happens with our names. And we have different suffixes that initially were added to the name to make it sound diminutive, cute, to show appreciation and affection. But some of the names, the playful forms, after some time became the normal neutral version of the name. And then people started adding more suffixes because this form that used to be cute and nice is not cute and nice anymore. So you add more. It's like a snowball of suffixes of cuteness. I don't know if it makes sense, but okay, in Spanish you have this cito, yeah, and ita. For example, I want to say a doggy, yeah, and I say perrita, but it's not enough anymore, so I say pirrita, ita. I don't. Do they have other diminutive suffixes? Ito, ita. What else? I'm not sure. But let me show you some examples. One of them makes everyone crazy. I think even Russians do not really understand how and why we call Alexander, Sasha, Sashinka, Sashunya, Sashula, Sanya, Shura. Where did we get Sasha and Shura out of Alexander? How? There is a diminutive suffix that used to be diminutive. Now it's more like a usual ending for a name, sha. So people would say Alexasha, and then got rid of Alec, and they ended up with Sasha, Alec, Sasha. And then after some time, this Sasha became normal. and so they had to add more suffixes to Sasha to make it sound good. So for Sasha, you can make it sound Sashinka, Sashunya, Sashula, and then Sashka, which is like more casual, but like your body would call you like Sashka, Sashka, or Sanya. So here they just got rid of sha and used another diminutive suffix, which is also very popular, nya. So Alexanya, Sanya, Sanya, that's all. And also you have a Shura, Shurik. And with Shura, Shurik, people would use Sashura, so they already got this piece of the first suffixes, stash, and added another Shura. They came up with Sashura and then stopped saying Sa, so the name turned to be Shura, which is kind of crazy because Shura does not have basically a single piece of the initial name Alexander. This is crazy. Another example, Maria. Maria would be very formal. Masha would be neutral, a version that you can use every day. Masha, and then you add more suffixes to Masha, and you have Mashinka, Mashula, Mashunika, well, and so on, Marusia and Manya. I think Manya is not really popular anymore, and it was very informal, like people could tease someone saying Manya, Manka, you can even say Manka. So you see, you only have the first syllable, yeah, Maria, Manka. The next one that's also a little bit weird, Dmitri, Dima, because I think the old version of the name was Dima, Dimachka. You add this ochka. Diminutive. Dimachka, he's so small. This is like the super cutie name, Dimachka. And you also have Mitya, because Dimitri, Mitya, Mityusha, Mitinka. Even though I think Mitya was popular in Soviet Union, but not anymore. So in practice, the way you pick the version of the name shows how you treat the person, how close you are. It's a social code. Neutral and everyday would be Sasha, Masha, Dima, yeah, from Alexander, Maria, and Dmitri. Warm and affectionate would be Mashinka, Sashinka, Dimachka. And like informal, but also like kind of teasing, buddish, would be Sanya, Mashka, Sanka, Dimka. But don't really use ka at the end, like single ka, because you should really be like best friends and only use it when you address someone like very playfully. Dimka, Sashka, Sonka, you know. And now let's talk about patronymics. Отчества. So how they work? They are actually four suffixes that you can add for your father's name, to your father's name. For a man, you add Ovich or Yevich to your father's name, and for a woman, you add Ovna or Yevna to your father's name. For example, my father's name is Sergey. Sergey. And my отчество is Sergeyevna. Sergeyevna. My brother's patronymic is Sergeyevich. Sergeyevich. So when do we use patronymics? At school, university, 100%. You are talking to your teacher. You should always call them by their first formal form, by the first name, in the formal form. So their name is Anton. You don't say Antoshka, Toshenka. No, you say Anton, and then you use their patronymic, Anton Vladimirovich. Anton Vladimirovich. At work with your boss. Basically, you use the patronymic to everyone who is higher in this hierarchy, social hierarchy. I like English because you can address anyone with their name, simply calling them by their name, and also you have one pronoun, you, which is also formal and informal. I know there used to be thou, and yeah, I think thou, it was the informal version. But I think it's cool that you only have one. So, examples. Someone's father is Vladimir, so his son is gonna be Vladimirovich. His daughter is gonna be Vladimirovna. Someone's father is Mikhail, and the guy is gonna be called Mikhailovich. His patronymic Mikhailovich, and his daughter's patronymic is Mikhailovna. Ilya, and Ilya's son is Ilyich, and the daughter is Ilyinichna. You see, Ilyinichna, this is an irregular patronymic ending. There are a few of them, but they are pretty rare. I'm not going to talk about it. So, famous examples, the full names. Fyodor Mikhailovich Dostoevsky. Fyodor Mikhailovich Dostoevsky. Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky. Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky. The next one is the surnames. Surnames in Russian is family. One surname, familia. So like family. Yep, this is your family name. Therefore, it's called familia. We have in Russian, like Slavic names, a few very common endings of yev in for male and ova yeva ina for female. Like my last name ends with ina. For example, Ivanov, Ivanova, Petrov, Petrova, Pushkin, Pushkina. I have allergies. Another one would be ski and skaya. Ski for a man and skaya for a woman, which is also an adjective for an ending for an adjective. These last names sound very noble to me. If you have a name, a last name, a surname that ends with Skiskaya, you are cool. For example, Dostoevsky, Dostoevskaya, Tchaikovsky, Tchaikovskaya, and let's see famous examples. For example, Anna Akhmatova. She is a poet. Anna Akhmatova. Akhmatova. Yuri Gagarin. Yuri Gagarin. Yuri Gagarin. In Soviet Union and even in Russian Empire, there was a practice for people from other countries or from other ethnicities, I should say, would change their suffix at the end of their last name to make it sound more Russian, so they feel included. So to put it all together, let's take a hypothetical Alexander Sergeyevich Petrov. Alexander Sergeyevich Petrov. In an official document, he would say that his name is Alexander Sergeyevich Petrov. At school or at work, if he's a teacher, he would be called Alexander Sergeyevich, or a boss, Alexander Sergeyevich. Every day, he would probably be Sasha Petrov. Sasha, the informal, everyday version of the name Alexander, Sasha. And his last name, because how many Sashas do you know? A lot, probably. I had 3. In my university, there were 16 people, 5 guys, 6 guys, and 3 of them were called Alexander. Sasha, we had 3 Sashas. And close family or his girlfriend or his wife, they would call him Sashenka, Sashula. His buddy, he could call him Sanya or Sanyok, even. Sanyok is a very like swaggy Sanyok. And this flexibility is a reason why our names are so expressive. I really like it about Russian names because just by using a name, you can show not even like the way you relate to each other in society, but if it's your friend, you can simply show them your mood, your attention, the way you treat them at the moment. Like, oh, you messed up, I'm gonna call you Manька, Dashka, Daria, Dasha, Dashka. Or if I'm like very playful and I'm like, Dashka, let's go out. If I want to console you, if I want to make you feel comfortable, I would call you Dashinka, Dashula, and so on, and so on. I hope it wasn't like too chaotic, and I hope it was clear, okay? And now let's come to Western names and the way they would sound in Russian. So there are a few names from this list that we Russians have not really adapted to Russian language, like even if they are historically like Greek or Jewish, but I will pronounce it with a Russian accent. So you have the name Alexander. In Russian that would be Alexander, Sasha, Sanya, Sashenka, Sashunya. Alexandra or Alexandria, I guess, in Russian would be Alexandra. Again, Sasha, Sashenka, Shura, Sashula. Then Michael is Mikhail in Russian. Mikhail. And Mikhail is Misha, Mishka, Mishenka, Mishutka, and Mishula. Mishutka is also how you call a bear, like a small bear, like a cub. Mishutka. Mishka. Next, Michelle. Michelle. Sometimes, very rare, you would say Michaela. and Misha, maybe if it's a Michaela. But I think most of the time we would not change this name, so you would just be Michelle, Michelika. Then Daniel. It has two forms: Daniil, or Danila. Men who are called either Daniil or Danila, they get so freaked out if you use the wrong version of this name. I'm not a Daniil, I'm Danila. I'm not a Danila, I'm Daniil. Yeah, right. Danya, Danichka, Danyusha, Danya, Daniil, Danya. David is David, Dava, Davidik, Davidushka. Davidushka is like very, very affectionate. But I think this name is not that popular among Russians, like Slavic Russians. I think it's more popular in Caucasus. Next, James. James would be James, or the old biblical version is Yaakov. And Yaakov, I know it sounds very different from James, but Yaakov would also be Yasha and Yashinka. Then John is either John or Ivan. Ivan is Vanya, Vanichka, Vanyusha. William is William because we don't have the W. William or Wilhelm. Wilhelm is the old version of this name, I guess, the way we translate it. Oh, like knights and king's name. Wilhelm. William would be Willy, like in English Willy, but Willy or Vilka. Robert is Robert. Robertik. But you wouldn't call someone Bob or Bobik because it's a dog's name in Russian. So if your name is Robert, you say Robert or Robert. I think Robert. If your name is Robert and you introduce yourself as Bobik or Bob, just stick to Robert, okay? Richard is Richard. Richie, Richardik. By the way, guys, girls, I have the girl's name later, okay? Don't worry, I have girl's name too. It's just, yeah, I think I have more male names first, okay? Don't worry. Then we have Thomas. Thomas is gonna be Thomas or Fama. Fama is the old biblical version of Thomas in Russian. Thomas. Fama, Fomka, Fomushka. Then you have Christopher. In Russian would be Christopher or Christofor. Christofor is the old version. Christofor, Christoforushka, Kristik. Next, Matthew is Matthew, and the old biblical version is Matvey, Matveyka, Matveyushka, Matveychik. Andrew is gonna be Andrew or Andrei. Andrei is the Russian version of Andrew. Pretty popular name, Andrei. Привет, Andrei. if your name is Andrew and you are learning Russian, try to listen to the song which is called Привет, Андрей. Andreyka, Andrusha, Andrei, Andrusha. Joseph is Joseph, and the Russian version is Iosif. Stalin's name was Iosif, not Joseph. Iosif. Iosif is also Osip, and Osipka. Then Charles. This one is freaky. Honestly, Charles is Karl in Russian. Don't ask me why. This is a long story, but that's basically the tradition to translate the word Charles. The name Charles is Karl. So we had the Prince Charles, but when he became a king, we started calling him Karl. Never mind. Karlusha. You cannot really do anything with Charles in Russian. Charles, it sounds horrible. Charles, no. Then Henry is Genry, and all the names that start with H in Russian start with G. For example, Hitler is Gitler. Harry is Gary. Henry is Genry. Genichka. George in Russian is either Georgi or Yuri. Also, do not ask me why Georgi, Yuri, I have no idea. And with Georgi, you have like hundreds of versions. So Shora, Goga, Gosha, I don't know, Jorik, Yurik, and so on. And then you add a lot of suffixes to what I just said, and you get like infinite amount of names. Edward is Edward, Edik, Edichka. Stephen or Stefan is Stephen, Stevechuk. Anthony, or Antoni or Anton. Anton is Antosha, Antoshinka, Tosha. Benjamin is Veniamin. Venichka. Nicholas is Nikolai, Kolenka, Nikolaichik. Paul is Pavel. This is again, if your name is like the disciple's name in Russian, it's gonna sound very different because it's very old. Paul, Pavel, Pasha, Pashenka, Pavlusha. Mark is Mark. Marik, Markusha. Marik. Luke is Luka. Luchik, Lukasha. Maybe Luke, like if your name is Luke. Then Mary is Maria. Masha, Mashinka, Marusia, Manya. Elizabeth is Елизавета. Lisa, Lisachka, Lisenka, Yelisavetachka. Catherine is Catherine, or the Russian name is Yekaterina. Catherine's the great's name was Ekaterina. Ekaterina is Katya, Katinka, Katyusha. Emma would only be Emma. Olivia is Olivia. This name is not really popular in Russian nowadays. I think it is getting popular because it sounds very, very exotic here. Even though I guess it's one of the most popular names in the West. Olivia would be Olivka, like olive, Olivushka. Sophia, in Russian we have two versions, Sophia or Sofia. And Sophia can be Sonia. I know that the word Sonia are like, it's like a different name in English, but it is the same in Russian. So Sophia would be Sophia or Sofia, the full name, and the diminutive would be Sonia, Sonichka, Sofочка, Sofyushka, Sonchik, Savulka, whatever. Isabella, Bella, or Isabella, Bellachka, or Izachka. I think that would be like the Russian Jewish version, Izachka. Mia. I guess you cannot really do anything with Mia, Mika, but that sounds a little bit rude. Miyusha, Miyochka. Charlotte, Charlotta, Lotta. This is like European. Charlotka, Charlie. Amelia. After I pronounce all these names in Russian, it's weird switching back to English pronunciation. Amelia, Amelichka, Mela. Emily would be Emilia, Emma, Emilka, Emilichka. Grace is Grace, and I don't think you can really add many suffixes to this because that doesn't sound very natural. But I mean, you could Graceachka, Gracie, like in English, Gracie. You can even say Grazia because Grazia means grace. Hannah would be Hanna or Anna, but in Russian we do not have Hanna, we only have Anna. So if you are Anne or Anna or Hanna, you would be Anna, Anya, Anichka, Anyutka, Nyusha. And the last one is Victoria. Victoria is gonna be Victoria, Vika, Vikula, Vikachka, and maybe Tori, like in English. If your name is English, not Victoria. Okay. Well, it turned out to be a pretty long video. Wow. I hope you liked it. I hope it was interesting. Thank you for staying. If you stayed for so long, thank you very much. I wish you all the best. All the best. Thank you for staying.